Got the shelf out. I'm thinking I'm just gonna try and pop this lip off. I'm assuming it's glued. So we have any tricks to get super glue off your hand?
Jade says I passed out at one point. Debatable.
The more and more I've thought about this, the less and less I think it'll do anything. Maybe grow mold. It's definitely quieter. Not a ton. Hey everybody, welcome to a vlog with just me. I just dropped Jade off at the airport. She ran to New York for an event. I stayed home because I wasn't feeling 100%. So you get to do some projects with me around the boat. It's a lot less boxes than the ones I have to return. Some of you asked what this thing was behind our boat. That is a puppy ramp, I guess you could call it, so that mostly Penny can get back on the boat when she goes swimming, not if. Called Pup Clink. We've tried 3 or 4 different ramps, and this one is by far the best one. Hey puppies. If you watched our most recent video, you'll know that this is the knife that got me. I thought it was a Gerber. It's actually a Smith & Wesson. Little lock right there, doesn't work. I still love the knife. They're super sharp. Gave me a nice clean cut on my finger. It's all healed now. Okay, this is what we're doing. These ones are gonna be like our bulk pantry items. So we had these when we built our bus. I'll see if I can find a clip of the bus. These should fit pretty well to store all of our bulk goods, rice, beans, flour, that you want to make sure stay really well sealed. We keep organizing this and it lasts like 2 days, and then it ends up like this. And it is just a mess. All right, before we jump into dealing with the pantry items, let's talk a minute for a second about why I stayed home from this trip and why Jade went. I've been really sick. I slept for like 20 hours one day, 18 hours the next day, body aches, chills, fever, you name it. Our boat neighbor, Turtle, Spondana, is actually a doctor, and so she went to CVS and she got me a blood pressure cuff so I could check my blood pressure, a glucose meter so I could check my blood sugars, because things were out of whack. Jade says I passed out at one point, debatable, but anyways, that got the ball rolling on looking into my health and kind of what's going on, which is why this week's sponsor, Hone Health, is perfect. Hone Health is an at-home assessment that you can check your testosterone, which is something that is really common. In the US alone, there's something like 30 million men that are suffering from complications from low testosterone, and that can cause all sorts of things to be out of whack. You could lose interest, you could lose passions, you could have low energy, but Hone Health makes it super easy to figure it out because it's not uncommon and it's not anybody's fault that it happens. So the way it works is if you go to honehealth.com/expeditionevans, they will send you this at-home assessment. They give you everything you need, instructions and everything. You open it up, you follow the instructions, you prick your finger, you drop it onto the card, and you send it in. Once you send it in, a doctor is going to review that, and that doctor is going to have a consultation with you and go over all your results and come up with a treatment plan to correct your levels. And obviously, I'm not a medical expert, Hone Health is, and they're going to be with you to make sure everything gets sorted out. So go check them out, honehealth.com/expeditionevans, and they're gonna give you this at-home assessment and the doctor consultation for $45, which is better than most copays. I am feeling better. I'm gonna do this once the video finishes because I wanna make sure that's good. So let's see if we can figure out this pantry. Multiple issues that we're running into. These are supposed to slide in right here, but they don't fit. Also, the jars, I think originally the plan was to put them down here, which they kinda fit, but only because I lowered the door down a tiny bit, but now the hinges feel weird. There's about a ½ inch lip right here. What you barking at? Penny says there's something out here worth barking at. Ding goes back up. That guy's definitely vlogging. It's kind of fun to see another vlogger in the wild. Good for him. The other issue that I didn't even think about before I started this was all these containers are dirty. They smell like plastic. Go figure. Got the shelf out. I'm thinking I'm just gonna try and pop this lip off. I'm assuming it's glued, but it also just has 3 screws. Take those screws out and we'll see what we got. Okay, so we've solved this problem, but still got an issue with this one. They really fit well down here, but I can't get them in because of this lip, unless I raise this up just a little bit like that. With my little spacers in there, you can see them up there. These now fit beautifully and slide out like magic. And these fit perfect as well. There's no room now for a lip down here, so I may just cut that piece of wood just to kind of cap it, or just leave it. It's really not that big a deal. Check that out. Those fit great. Put the pans in here. Pans on the top shelf. Those all fit. Hey guys, all right, it's been a couple hours. Give you a little update on how this went. We got all of these jars filled. There's 3 empty ones there, and then got all of our flours and sugars and all sorts of stuff. Which leads us to our next project. We put one in the guest head, and we really, really like it. And I just ripped this one off the wall. I just cleaned the bathroom for you guys, and here's some sleeping dogs. Got one here and one right there. I want it as close to the mirror as I can, but I need to be able to clear this thing. So I think I'll pop this one up. So you know, VHB does actually stand for very high bond. I read that in a forum a long time ago. No idea if that's true, but that's what I say every time in my head when I see VHB tape. Very high bond. So let's see how I did. Nice. Nice. Need to put some fluids in there. Quick little project done. I gave myself appropriate credit for this. This is the water maker test. When it's making that water, it needs to go somewhere. It either has to go to the tank or out that. My fear was that if I had one with a handle and forgot to have the handle open one time and then switch it to the sink, it potentially could get stuck and then that would just blow a hose off somewhere. So that one I specifically got because it doesn't have a handle. Made a mistake. I sat down to take a rest and now I'm really tired. So I'm going to go to sleep, get some rest, hopefully get up early tomorrow and get back to work. See you tomorrow. Common misconception, Jade does all the editing. Not true. She does do most of it, especially the artistic design. So whenever it's like really beautiful and like really, really good, that was Jade. So I need to do some editing this morning before I can start working on any more projects because I was supposed to do some of that yesterday, but I got sucked into projects. So editing, I got some laundry going. I'm gonna knock this out for a little while and then I can get back to projects. Editing is completed, at least enough for right now. The next project is one that a lot of you recommended we do, one that I wanted to do, I shouldn't have the parts to do it, and that's to put some dampers under the motor for the high pressure pump for the water maker. It's running right now. I want you to see how loud it is. Go in here and we can take a look. And now that it's off, it's just about 60. I feel like any good boat project on our boat begins with the Dyson vacuum because we have dogs and there's dog hair that gets everywhere. Anyway, so clean that up. Got everything exposed here. Some stuff you haven't seen. This is strapped down. That's just the food storage, kind of a worst case scenario. Got some extra membranes down there. Here's the things we're doing today. We're going to put some rubber washers under the motor and replace this wiring. There's 2 runs of it because this is AC. So I needed 3 wires, but I didn't have any 3-wire at the time, so I used 2 runs of 12 gauge 2-strand. So then I had 4 wires, just only used 3 of them, which is fine. I mean, it's rated for 600 volts. It's just a lot of extra wire that I could use somewhere else. And I have a lot of AC wire now because I bought a bunch. So I'm gonna take those wires out and replace that, put the washers under there, and maybe change out the pre-filters. Okay. I just realized that I've installed 2 fans and I could turn those on. That would be good. I'm sweating, dripping everywhere. Anyways, got all the bolts out. What's going on in here?
They came running.
All right, that was Sasha from Spirit Animal. She was bringing me keys to the truck because I need to borrow their truck to go return those Amazon packages. So this is literally, I'm just gonna walk away from this right now. And wow, this is fun. Sorry, dogs. Dingo's crying because Sasha left.
Are you sad? That was a sad howl.
So dramatic. All these boxes.
All these guys.
Failed you. I loaded up the dinghy and didn't even film it. Here's the dinghy. It's full. Does anybody have any tricks to get super glue off your hand? That's what I get for trying to use Harbor Freight super glue. But I mean, I guess now my finger will be good. The one that everybody recommended I should super glue closed. Now it's super glued closed, along with all of my other fingers. All right, really impromptu because there's no light in here. I'm going to do a side project real quick. That one's completely out. That one is like yellowy and it's kind of a weird, oh, you can't really tell. That one's a square? What the? Bought new lights. They're completely different. I think I'll probably just get rid of this entirely and put these ones in there. Let's see. That way, hopefully you can see me finish the rest of this project. Come on. Is this a good crimp? Or a bad crimp, but a good connector? Sheesh. Ha! Which one's positive? Positive is black. Glad they labeled that. Ready for this? It's quite a bit brighter. Ooh, wow, that's really bright. I like that. Check that out. It's considered a cool white. I think it's like a 5,000 Kelvin. I'll have to look and see what the actual number is. It's a little blue, but I don't know. I'll swap this other one in there and see what I think. Wow, it is significantly brighter in here. Maybe I'll do this one while I'm doing it. That's dramatic. This actually looks a little bluer on camera than it does in person. This is an old halogen. I think I'm just gonna steal these wires. When I was a kid, I did a lot of RC, like RC cars and planes, helicopters, quads, and I never had proper wire cutters, crimpers. I had a good soldering iron, but that was pretty much my only like real tool that I had through all those years. And so I knew when we were starting this boat project, of all the tools I've always just wanted a proper crimper. And so I bought one and I love it. I cannot believe how much better I'm able to make crimps using an actual crimp. Everything is so much better than pliers. I mean, growing up, I always just used pliers, but actually I soldered most things. I didn't really crimp much. With a remote control, you solder pretty much everything. So I'm pretty good at soldering. I don't think I've done a single soldering on this boat yet. I'm sure I will, but haven't yet. I'm only gonna do this room. I'm not gonna do a whole boat right now. I'm gonna not tell Jade. Let's see if she notices. I'm curious to see how observant she will be. I did tell her about one of the other little things I did last night. When I was working on the shower, the door was really bothering me. Ooh. I like that. Interesting observation. This light I took out, 12 volt, 5 watt. The one that I put in, 12 volt, 2.5 watt. How about that? I should have done it before and after. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, that was worth it. Oh, shower. What I was talking about before. Oh man, look at these lights. These are terrible. These are awful. I'll have to replace those now. Shoot. This door. You can see it spins super nice now. It didn't used to. It used to get stuck and it actually used to hit the floor down there and you'd have to like pick it up and turn it because otherwise it would get stuck about right there and then you don't really fit through the doorway very well. So all I did is I just unscrewed them, I loosened them and turned them 90 degrees and screwed them back in because they had flat spots on all the bottom ones, especially that last one. It was completely flat and it was like 1/8 of an inch lower, like ground down. Did that and that is so nice. It's like, fancy. Back to the project. I have all these guys ready to go. These are all drilled out. Now it's time to jump back in there and see if we can make it work. Okay, I had to take a little walk, stretch out my back after being hunched over, picking up that motor. But all the bolts and nuts are on. I got the washers cranked down, not all the way, right? You don't want them compressed all the way, otherwise that defeats the whole purpose of having the rubber in there. But I had to get it enough so that it would bite onto the nylock nut. So they're just biting onto the nylock nut, which may actually not even be necessary because the rubber is compressed. It's essentially putting tension on the bolt. But either way, while I am catching my breath, I'll answer a question that a lot of people asked. This right here is the freshwater flush. So this will pump fresh water through. This is a carbon filter. Goes through one-way valve, through the pre-filters, around, through the pump, and through the membranes. So that way the pump isn't sitting with salt water all the time and you are running fresh water through your membranes. And you can adjust how often it does. I think I have it set every 72 hours and it goes for 10 minutes. That probably needs to be a little longer. And that's something that came with the kit. It is not a backwash. I kind of wish it was a backwash. Maybe that's an option on some water makers. It's not on this one. Dingo says it's time to be asleep, huh? What'd you do to my bed? Got the wires all done on that end. Now we need to jump into here, pull this panel back and disconnect it from the main pump circuit breaker, pull those wires out, and then run new wire. Oh no, I just dropped that screw. Oh my gosh. I just dropped a screw down there. Oh boy. Oh man. That screw may be gone. I may have just really made this really quick little project a lot longer. I can tell my brain's slowing down because I'm getting tired because I looked at all these wires and got really confused, but I got it figured out. I feel bad working late at night, but like, it makes my heart happy that Dingo always comes and hangs out with me. Like, that doesn't look comfortable. Like, I was lame. All finished up in the bathroom. Here's what we got. I got everything kind of cleaned up. It was a big mess and I figured out while I'm in here, this is hopefully the last time that I'm really having to dig in here. So let's clean it all up. Got the hoses rerouted a little bit cleaner and the wiring is a lot cleaner. It's legitimately 4 in the morning and there's music blasting outside right now. I don't know. Quite a few people asked about testing the water. This is the TDS meter. It tests total dissolved solids, I think is what it is. And it'll tell basically how much salt, is in the water. So the water comes from here, gets tested, tells me how much it's making, and then it comes to the diverter valve. Then I choose, am I sending it to the tank or sending it to the sink? And I always send it to the sink first. I have a secondary TDS meter and a pH meter that we can test. And then we also taste it, smell it, make sure it's all good. If it is, then we turn that valve and it goes to the tank. That was a little kind of rushed last time, so hopefully that clears up some questions. I got super lucky. The screw for the door fell exactly where I hoped that it did. And so I was able to just grab it. All right. Everything's done in here. That's mounted, nice and pretty. We got our new wire run. A smart person would have tested the wiring before they crimped everything super hard and put the cover back on, but not me. Now we can try this guy. It's quieter, but it's not quiet. A little water leaking back there, that's good. I can't figure out why this pump is so loud. It's still really loud. I don't think that did anything. At least it's there. That'll protect the pump a little bit. So that brings us to solution 2. But first we gotta clean up this. Boom. Sound deadening panels. They're definitely not soundproofing. But they're cool looking. I attempted to draw some lines. Thinking I want to cover as much as I can. butter. No, that was not a sponsorship. I actually just really like these knives. There's one done. Looks pretty good. I love arts and craft day. Most important part. Gotta lay on them. Get all the sticky stuck. All right, let's look at these walls. Too tall to do 9 squares, but it looks like that'll work. So I'll cut off 1 row on all of them, and then I should be able to strategically place them. 4 sets of 3. Here's what I came up with. Did 2 across the front, 2 of the big ones on the sides, and then a couple there, and then just a couple whatever, just stragglers. The more and more I've thought about this, the less and less I think it'll do anything. Maybe grow mold. That might be that might be all it's good for. In which case I'm glad it's just with sticky tape that'll come off. But yeah, let's throw the covers on. We'll throw the mattress back on and fire it up and see if it's a single decibel quieter. And does anybody know if the GoPro 10 has a better battery life? I've been filming on the GoPro 9 and we haven't really filmed much on the 9s since we got them. We did a lot of the rebuild filming on 8s, and then we got the 9s, but we just haven't done any like long filming like this. And I am just chewing through batteries. So I would like to know if the 10 has a better battery, because if it does, I may be in the market. I was gonna turn it on, but then I realized we gotta make it fair. It had blankets and stuff on top of it. Gotta go throw those on. Well, hello. Did you just wake up? Hey, buddy. Main pump. Okay, I don't remember what the numbers were. I'll have to look at the video. It's definitely quieter. Not a ton, but it is quieter. Cool. All right, I'm gonna call it a video. I had a good time hanging out with you guys and working on all these projects. Basically had 48 hours just to get a bunch of stuff done while Jade was gone. And I feel pretty accomplished. I wish the water maker was quieter. I wish the house was a little bit cleaner, but I think all things considered, I am pleased with my work and pleased with the results. I don't know if this is gonna be a regular thing, boat work with Brett. If you like it, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and we will see you on the next video. Are you guys happy to have your bed back? Oh my goodness. Was it a rough night without a bed? High five. High five. Good girl. Dingo, high five. Oh, sorry.
What are you doing? Why are you filming? But you haven't shown me yet? I didn't not observe something?
Correct. I have not shown you.
I folded my laundry.
Well, yeah. I think it's safe to say she didn't notice. Come sit here.
The lights! They're so bright.
Obviously not.
Now I can't not see it. Oh, I can't even open my eyes.
Oh, shush. I love you.